Krishna Hare Ram 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत
Krishna
गदाधर
Krishna
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण everyone. So today is Saturday, 28th of January 2024. It is Pausha Masa or Narayana Masa, Shukla Paksham, Dasmi Tithi. So there are no Vaishnava events today. So tomorrow is the Putrade Ekadasi. So tomorrow it is fasting from grains, beans and cereals. Okay, so we shall quickly enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Sit. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Parikshit Maharaj is asking all these great sages to answer what is the duty of people in general and especially people who are about to die. What are their prime duties? So such kind of question and asking them. So please kindly deliberate and then please let me know what is the final instructions that I have to carry out at my last moments and also for people in general in day-to-day life. So likewise, he asked that question to the sages. Tatashavaha prucham imam vipruche vishrabhya vipra iti krutyatayam sarvatmana mriyamanasya krutyam shuddham ch tatra amrushita abhyuktaha. Amrushitaha. So deliberately you you discuss among yourself and then please tell what is the best thing for me. That is Shuddham cha. It is perfectly correct. Shuddham cha. Tatra amrushita abhyuktaha. What is the appropriate? And what are the activities to be for the people in general and people mrimansha and people who are about to die. So that question has put. So now Saswata Goswami says at that particular moment, so Sukadeva Goswami has appeared into that scene. Sukadeva Goswami entered into that scene. So who is the son of Vyasadeva? And then he was roaming around the earth like uninterested, and also he was he was not showing any symptoms like whether he is a boy or girl. So about this nature, he is seeing the Supreme Lord everywhere. That is his nature, and he is completely self-satisfied. And when he was roaming around the world, wandering, and when he was appearing into that scene, he was surrounded by the children and the women, but he is appeared like a avadota. So that is the just it is appearance of Sukadeva Goswami into the scene. So we are in the first canto, chapter 19, verse number 25. Tatra abhavad bhagavan vyasa putro yadhrutyayaagam atamano anapekshaha अलक्ष्यलिंगो निजलाभतुष्टो वृतश्च बालैः अवधूतवेषः तत्र अभवत् भगवान् व्यासपुत्रो तत्र अभवत्. So at that particular time, abhavat Bhagavan Vyasaputro, Bhagavan Vyasaputra has appeared there. So here Bhagavan Vyasaputra is the Sukadeva Goswami and Bhagavan. So here Bhagavan it is used to address the Sukadeva Goswami. So sometimes it is addressed, not all the time we use the Bhagavan, Bhagavan. Bhagavan is only meant for Krishna only. In the Bhagavad Gita, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, only Bhagavan is used for Krishna. So, and here, sometimes for the great personality, for Maitreya, Bhagavan Maitreya Rishi, Bhagavan Sukadeva Goswami, and Bhagavan Narada. So at that particular time, based on their potencies and need to be need at that particular situation, it is used Bhagavan. So here Tatra Abhavad Bhagavan Vyasaputro, and then he has appeared, and how he was Yadrichaya Gam Atamano Anapekshaha, Yadrichaya, as one desiring to come there, Yadrichaya for the Parikshit Maharaj, and while he was Gam Atamano Anapekshaga, Gam Atamano Anapekshaha, and on the earth while he was wandering without any interest. Gam Atamano Anapekshaha, without any interest, while he was wandering on the earth. Alakshalingo, he doesn't show any difference between whether he is a woman or whether he is a man, and whether he is a rich, whether he is a poor, whether he is an animal or he is not an animal, like that. Alakshalingo, Nijalabatusto, he is completely self-satisfied. Alakshalingo, Nijalabatusto, completely self-satisfied. Vritasya Balaihi Avadota Veshaha, and he is Vritasya, surrounded by the Balaihi and children. Surrounded by the children, Avadota Veshaha. So Avadota is the Dhota is the one who is the messenger. Avadota, messenger who has descended onto the earth to deliver a message to the people in general on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for a divine purpose. Avadhota. And here he was just like neglected by others, and he is surrounded by women and children. He was coming to that situation, that scene where all the Parikshit Maharaj and saintly people, great sages, they have assembled there. Now, Sukadeva Goswami is appearing there. So, Tatra Abhavad Bhagavan Vyasaputro Yadruchayagam Atamano Anapekshaha Alakyalingo Dijalapatusto Vritashabalaihi Avadotaveshaha. So, translation for this verse is: at that moment, there appeared the powerful son of Vyasadeva, who traveled over the earth, disinterested and satisfied with himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Bhagavan is sometimes used in relation with some of the great devotees of the Lord, like Sukadeva Goswami. Such liberated souls are disinterested in the affairs of this material world because they are self-satisfied by the great achievements of devotional service. As explained before, Sukadeva Goswami never accepted any formal spiritual master, nor did he undergo any formal reformatory performances. His father, Vyasadeva, was his natural spiritual master because Sukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam from him. After this, he became completely self-satisfied. Thus, he was not dependent on any formal process. The formal processes are necessary for those who are expected to reach the stage of complete liberation. But Sri Sukadeva Goswami was already in that status by the grace of his father. As a young boy, he was expected to be properly dressed, but he went about naked and was uninterested in social customs. He was neglected by the general populace, and inquisitive boys and women surrounded him as if he were a madman. He thus appeared on the scene while traveling on the earth of his own accord. It appears that upon the inquiry of Maharaja Parikshit, the great sages were not anonymous in their decision as to what was to be done. For spiritual salvation, There were many prescriptions according to the different modes of different persons. But the ultimate aim of life is to attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service to the Lord. As doctors differ, so sages differ in their different prescriptions. While such things are going on, the great and powerful son of Vyasadeva appeared on the scene. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning about the Sukadeva Goswami, and also he is the Atma Rama Shamunyo Nilgranda Api Gurukrame Kuruvanti Aikim Bhaktim Ittam Bhuta Guno Harihi. They will be attracted, even though he is Atma Rama, such kind of people also attracted towards the Krishna Katha. So that is very beautifully explaining in the beginning of the, and he never stay at one particular place. He is just always wandering around the earth. So in the beginning, when the Suta Goswami, he is also offering his prayers. Yes, Swanubhavam Akilam, Sutisaramekam Adhyatmadipam Atiti Shityashidam Tamondham Samsarinam Karunayaha Purana Guhyam Tam Vyasunu Upayami Guru Muninam. He is offering his prayers to the Sukadev Goswami in such a way that he is the Swa Anubhavam Akila Shruti Saramekam. He understood everything, he digested all the Bhagavatam. That's why he could relish and deliver that message to Parikshit. And he is always Atma Rama. He is the Adhyatma Deepam Atiti Tishitam Tamondham. He would lit the candle of the Adhyatma Deepam, the transcendental knowledge, in the heart of the materialistic people whose heart is dark with the material desires. Adhyatma Deepam Atiti Tishitam Tamondham. Samsarinam Karunayaha Purana Guhyam Tam Vyasunu Upayam Guru Munina. And he is the Guru of all other sages as well. Guru Muninam, and likewise, so the Goswami was saying in the beginning. So such kind of powerful Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, has appeared there. And Prabhupada mentions further, he never accepted any formal spiritual master. And this is also when he was, as soon as he has taken a birth, and then immediately with, of course, there are some customs, and then as a child, and then he grows, and then as soon as he understands that he doesn't belong to this material world, he leaves. So that is what in the beginning Suta Goswami also mentioning. So when he was leaving, at that time Vyasadeva also sends his disciples to bring him back in such a way, to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam in such a way that Sukadeva Goswami hear. Sukadeva Goswami at that time, he was completely parinishthitopi. So he, without any this is the formal reformatory performances, and Sukadeva Goswami never accepted any formal spiritual master and did not undergo any formal reformatory performances. And he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva, that is the Sarva Ved Itihasanam Saram Samudritam. Because his father, he gives everything, all the cream of all the Vedas, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, to Sukadeva Goswami. So that is very beautifully mentioning here. As a young boy, he was expected to be properly dressed. Actually, Sukadeva Goswami, he was the 16 years old. So here, son of the Vyasadeva, and sometimes he is mentioned as the 16 years old boy. But actually, here, Vyasadeva has begotten Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and also Vidura, and now Sukadeva Goswami. So here, when we see here the relationship between Parikshit and the Sukadeva Goswami is at the great grandfather level. But here, sometimes he is mentioned as a 16 years old boy, because he was taken birth as he was in the womb of his mother for 16 years. So that's why it is also sometimes mentioned. And he was not dressed properly, and he did not care for whether he is a woman or whether he is a man, something like that. He doesn't. This is the dualities of this material world. He did not show that one, lingatvam. So that is the alakshalingo nijalabhatusto. He is completely self-satisfied, and he is appearing like a madman, and surrounded by the women and children. And then he has wandering on the world just like a yadruchaya, as he wishes, without any interest. He was wandering. So there he has appeared. That is the nature. There, the devotees of the Lord are people who are self-realized ones. Dehopi daivashagaha kalu karma yavat. It is in the divine nature. So here, when he is appearing into that scene, it is by the divine arrangement. So the great and powerful son of Vyasadeva has appeared on the scene. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Tatra abhavat bhagavan Vyasaputro yadruchiyagam atamano anapekshaha alakshalingo nijalabatusto rutashabhalaihi avadotaveshaha. Likewise, Sukadeva Goswami appeared there. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today it is letter to Jai Govinda, December 8, 1969. It is a medium letter. Can I request any dear devotees to read this letter?
I'll read, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My dear Jai Govinda, please accept my blessing. I beg to acknowledge received your letter dated December 3rd, 1969. The description given by you are very pleasing and nice. Kindly keep up the standard of your temple activities by mutual cooperation, and everything will come out successful and smooth. Krishna is giving you all help, and more you serve him, and the more you serve him, the more help will come automatically. You were in India, so you have seen our god brothers have hundreds of temples and mosques, and other also in India. Everyone is nicely maintaining, depending on Krishna. Actually, they have no fixed income, but as they serve the Lord arranges everything. Therefore, our principle should be to serve nicely, and everything will be arranged by the Lord. Try to make your press department very nice. The magazine is already selling, and if you make further improvement, the sale will also improve. Just like our English BTG, from 5,000 copies, they have increased to 25,000 copies per month. And they are going to increase the number of pages from 32 to 40 pages. Regarding the IBM typewriter, if this is a composing machine or ordinary typewriter, this is a composing machine or ordinary typewriter. If you are able to make composing machine, that will able to take a composing machine, that will be very nice. So far as your plan for making Hare Krishna day glow sign, that is very nice. Regarding your question about Krishna's association, the principle is that living entities are expansions of the original living entity, Krishna. But there are different grades of living entities: Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. Vishnu Tattva is almost equal to the level of the personality of Godhead, and the Jiva Tattva is minute particles. So when Lord Chaitanya appeared, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu were Vishnu Tattva, whereas uh, Gadadhar Prabhu and Sivas Prabhu were Shakti Tattva. Jiva Tattva is also within the Shakti Tattva. These things are explaining in TLC and other of our books. Lord Nityananda and Balaram himself is Balaram himself, not an expansion of him. Silo Narottam Das Thakur has sung that the Lord who appeared as the son of Nanda Maharaj has now appeared as the son of Sachi Devi, and the same Balaram has appeared as Nityananda. This is the statements of Silonarottam Das Thakur. I hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever Ulisha, Esi Bhaktivedanta Swami. Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Any takeaway points, Prabhuji, from this letter?
Yes, Prabhu, two straightforward takeaway points is we have to be serving God wholeheartedly and nicely so that and don't have to worry about our maintenance. He's the supreme. He has everything, so he will maintain us. All we need to concentrate is on him, number one, and number two is as Prabhupada said, and we all know that Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya is the is himself Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram. They appear in here, and there's two tattva, Jeev tattva and Sakti tattva. Jeev tattva is similar to God, similar to Krishna, and the Sakti tattva is the minute part of the Krishna. Hari Bol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Any other points, dear devotees? So here, and also Prabhupada is mentioning about in India so many temples and mutts, mentioning about our God brothers have hundreds of temples and mutts, and others also in India. So this is naturally, it happens. They are all, sometimes they don't speak much philosophy, but they carry on in serving in the temples. That is, and they are completely depending on Krishna. So that is very beautiful thing. So it is a practical example, but when who sees that one and recognize that one, they understands it. But otherwise, people think somewhere or other, or they do not give much attention to that. Okay, so and in this second paragraph, it is in spreading of Krishna consciousness movement by printing more number of copies to wider and distribute to the people in general. And here, so Jai Govinda is, Prabhuji was in India, and he was seeing different kinds of philosophies as well at that time. So Prabhupada was mentioning, so to engage him properly as well, without deviated by the Mayavadis. Okay, and also the other thing is Prabhupada is explaining about the Vishnu Tattva and the Jiva Tattva as well. And also Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are directly Krishna and Balaram. And everything else is explained in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everywhere by the Sri Rupa Goswami and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and all our acharyas. So that is my takeaway points from this letter. Okay, any other additions? Okay, so from the announcements point of view, so today afternoon we have got Krishna Club, Children's Krishna Club at 12 o'clock, and the evening at 7 o'clock we have regular Bhagavad Gita Sangha with Vipin Vihadasa Prabhuji. Yeah, that's it. And then coming Tuesday is our preaching session with Gaurungi Devi Dasi Mataji. So those are the upcoming events. They are regular ones. And I don't have any further updates. And dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness or any other events are going on that you wanted to share, please kindly share before we go into the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, Chaitashloki Bhagavata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
Can I just ask about the last paragraph, the beginning? I'm a bit confused there. It says that living entities are expansions of living entity Krishna. It's the original. So Krishna, we like us, the self is connected to Krishna. Krishna is like the sun, and we are like the sun rays. So we are in a good position, aren't we?
Yes, Mataji.
So why is it? It says, but there are different grades of living entities. Does that mean even those people are not in the position like the sun rays? Because we're part of Krishna.
Yes. Here, the sun rays, when the sun ray is falling on the earth, if we see the distance, the sun ray is traveling from so many millions of miles. The sun particles nearer to the sun, it has got more influence, and sun particle which is far away from the sun, both are the sun particles, and that has less influence, that has less power. It is dim whenever it is coming to nearer to the earth. So likewise, as the particle is nearer to the sun or within the sun plate, then its effulgence is more. How nearer to Krishna? That is.
But it's saying that all the particles are connected to Krishna, all living entities. If
Yes.
you're connected, you're in a good position, really. You're not that far away where you have to struggle more. And in fact, if you're connected with Krishna in that really good position, why would you be having to do all these penances to get liberation or get, because you are in a way close to him?
Yes, Mataji. So that is a good question. So because why all these penances means, in this material world, it is we are already in the darkness. If we do not engage ourselves in the devotional service, immediately Maya would come and attack us. That is the purpose we are doing it. We got this material body because we have got some kind of amayo yasha sarvabhutanam jayitena surata tadevihi amayam dravyam punati nachikichitam. All these material bodies because of the infection, that is the desires they wanted to lord it over the material nature. When we engage these penances and austerities in the service of Krishna, it will turn into spiritualization, it will turn into the medicine. That's why we engage it. Otherwise, whatever you have said, that is rightly said. When we have got spiritual bodies, engaging everyone is connecting to Krishna. That is true in terms of the pure devotees who has surrendered themselves throughout their life.
So about the tattvas, is that equal in?
So this is Swamshas, Krishna's Vishnu Tattvas, or all his incarnations, that the Purusha incarnations, Vishnu, Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and then Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, Karnodak Sai Vishnu, Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, Virat Rupa, they're all Vishnu Tattvas. And also Jiva Tattvas are the living marginal entities. They come either into this material world or they can be stay in the spiritual world. So that is living entity, conditioned living entity. So when he is in Krishna, he belongs to the spiritual. When he is in the material world, he is in under the Prakriti. So Vishnu Tattva is never contaminated, even though Vishnu appears in this material world for the Leela purposes or Shakyavesh avatars like Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, like that. But whereas the ordinary living entities, when they are separated from Krishna to lord it over nature, then they are entangled in this material world. That is the one. Vishnu Shakti hi paraprokta kshetrajna kya tata para avidya karma sanyaya tritiya shaktirishyate. That is the marginal. Tritiya shaktirishyate, marginal energy.
So the Jiva Tattva are the ones that aren't, they are caught up in the enmeshment in the material world. Is that right?
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Okay, Haribol.
Which is wrapped up by all these elements.
But they have a choice.
Yes, they have a choice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so that is from Prabhupada's letter. We shall move on to the next part of our program, Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the Chatashloki Bhagavata. So we have been in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 9, and second sloka of the Chatashloki Bhagavata. Rutiyardham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeti chapmani tadvijyādatmano mayam yatā bhāso yatā tamaha. So before we start this one, again we shall offer Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. So here, Chatashloki Bhagavata. The first shloka is Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aham eva samevagre nanyad yad sad asad param pashadaham edetacha yoshisheta sosmyaham. I am the only person before the creation, during the creation, and after the creation exist. O Brahma, that is me. And second here, Rutiyardham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeti chatmani tad vijjad atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. And anything which is not related, not connected to me, it doesn't have any value. So whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So this is the second verse. So in this purport, we have seen 2 paragraphs. So we shall continue the paragraph purports of Srila Prabhupada very beautifully. When we are relishing all this katha, we reflect. Okay, can I request a dear devotees? Anyone would like to read the first 2 paragraphs of this purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I will read.
Mataji, please, yeah.
The Vedanta Sutra in the very beginning affirms that anything is born from the Supreme, and thus, as explained in the previous verse, all individual living entities are born from the energy of the Supreme Living Being, the personality of Godhead. Brahma himself was born from the energy of the Lord, and all other living entities are born from the energy of the Lord through the agency of Brahma. None of them has any existence without being dovetailed by the Supreme Lord. The independence of individual living entity is not real independence, but is just the reflection of real independence existing in the Supreme Being of being the Lord. The false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned soul is illusion, and this conclusion is admitted in this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So in this paragraph, any questions here, dear devotees? Any comments that you wanted to add? So here, all the living entities, they are the energy of the Lord. And every living entity, either he is a demigod or a living entity in this material world, everyone are, they do not have any independence outside of Krishna. So whenever they are surrendered to Krishna, so like Prabhupada gives like everyone are like a doggish mentality. All the dogs should have a master to maintain. If you have a good master, then your life is happy and successful. Even the one studies a doctor and engineer or anything, if he doesn't have a master to maintain him, all his education is waste. Prabhupada mentions that one should have, then as long as he has got his master, then he will see. And also, for example, when the living entity is completely surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he is fully independent. I mean, independent in that sense, depending on only Krishna, not to depend on any other materialistic nature. So Prabhupada used to give that explanation. So otherwise, he has to serve everyone. Father has to serve all the family. Mother has to serve. Child has to serve. And if he doesn't have anyone, he has to serve his senses. He is the servant of other only. He doesn't have any independence. So likewise, Prabhupada is giving the real independence existing in the Supreme Being. He is the Krishna, is the Lord. He is the Swarat. And if we think that I am independent, then if it is independent nation, it is in I have got independence. This is it brings unnecessary fightings between everyone in this material world. That is illusion. Okay, so that is one thing. Can I request other devotee to read other paragraph?
Shall I,
Prabhu,
Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, may I read? Oh, Dhanukana Mataji, please go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Mataji, no,
Sanchita Mataji can go ahead now.
Hare Krishna. Persons with a poor fund of knowledge become illusioned, and therefore the so-called scientists, psychologists, empiric philosophers, etc., become dazzled by the glaring reflection of the sun, moon, electricity, etc., and deny the existence of the Supreme Lord, putting forward theories and different speculations about creation, maintenance, and annihilation of everything material. The medical practitioners may deny the existence of the soul in the physiological bodily constructions of an individual person, but he cannot give life to a dead body, even though all the mechanisms of the body exist even after death. Thus, psychologists make a serious study of the psychological conditions of the brain, as if the constructions of the cerebral lump were the machine of the functioning mind, but in the dead body of the psychologist cannot bring back the function of the mind. These scientific studies of the cosmic manifestations or the bodily construction independent of the Supreme Lord are different reflective intellectual gymnastic only. And at the end they are all illusion and nothing more. All such advancement of science and knowledge in the present context of material civilization is but an action of the covering influence of illusory energy. The illusory energy has two phases of existence, namely the covering influence and the throwing influence. By the throwing influence, the illusory energy throws the living entities into the darkness of ignorance, and by the covering influence, she covers the eyes of men with poor fund of knowledge about the existence of Supreme Person who enlightened the Supreme Individual Living Being, Brahma. The identity of Brahma was with the Supreme Lord is never claimed herein, and therefore such a foolish claim by man with poor fund of knowledge is another display of the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 18 to 20, that demoniac persons who deny the existence of Lord are known more and more into the thrown more and more into the darkness of ignorance, and thus such demoniac persons transmigrate life after life without any knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So in this purport, in this particular paragraph, Prabhupada is explaining about the so-called scientists, physiologists, and empiric philosophers that only talk on only the bodily level, without connecting to the consciousness, the spirit soul, and its mind and intelligence, how they work. As long as spirit soul is there, then only everything is functioning. Otherwise, there is no meaning for anything else. So, and also all these things, Prabhupada in the previous purports, in the first canto, and in the Prabhupada brings about the Prahlada's prayer. The material world, it brings, if we try to counteract anything related to the body or any problems, it would give more pain and more entanglement and more pains. So that is why Prabhupada asks, just tolerate, and Krishna also says that Titikshavah. So Matra Sparshasthu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukudukadaha Agama Tam Titikshasva Bharata. You just tolerate, and then they will come and they will go away. Nothing is permanent. But here, what these physiologists and everything, they will stuck up with the problems. As soon as they come into, and they'll immediately try to investigate and do all kinds of researches and put more troubles, give more troubles to everyone, people in general. That is what they do, bring more problems. And when the problem, there is no more problem, then still the problem created by these physiologists or doctors or scientists, the problem would be carried forward to the further. Actually, there is no problem. They will come and go. So that is the nature of this material world. But problems are created by the so-called scientists, doctors, philosophers. So Prabhupada mentions this is useless. We also observe these kind of things. Small temporary problem, permanent inconvenience. So foolish. So even day-to-day life, we have to minimize all the necessities of the life, just as much as needed to maintain and keep it going on. That is what Prabhupada mentions. Krishna mentions the same thing. So here, the present context of material civilization is but an action of covering influence of illusory energy. And then further, that influence by the throwing influence, the illusory energy throws the living entities into the darkness of the ignorance. When we do not hear the proper things, proper sound vibrations, if it is material vibrations, it is the Jannavrajintagibidurajananuvadah Shrinvantyeni Vishayaha Kukata Matignihi. It will kill the intelligence. And then what happens? He will fall into the darkest material region. So he will not come into the knowledge, that is Krishna conscious knowledge. That is what Krishna further says later on. Tanaham Vishitaha Kruran Naradhaman, something like that, Krishna says. I will cast those people, demonic people, into the lowest species of life. Okay, so that is, and then further, the identity of the Brahma with the Supreme Lord is never claimed here, and therefore such foolish claim by the man with a poor fund of knowledge is another display of the illusory energy of the Lord. And also Prabhupada mentions demonic persons who deny the existence of the Lord are thrown more and more into darkness. Even though they are among, they knows that knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita and everything exists, they cannot take it. That is the nature of the demonic people. Unless it is in the only opportunities, they have to render somewhere other service to the devotees. That way they can understand little bit. Okay, so that is Prabhupada is bringing that context into this purport. That is, Rutyardhamyat preta na pratyeta chatmani tad vijyadatmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. Which is not connecting to Krishna, it has no value. Okay, thank you, Mataji. And then any other additions here, devotees? Any reflections or you wanted to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay, this is a really weird question. How do we know if we're a demon? And how do we try to change? Obviously, we kind of know the answer, but what if we are a demon? Like, what if I'm a demon?
So if I'm a demon, I do not follow my this Vedic injunctions. Of course, there are demons; they also follow the Vedic injunctions. And what should I do? I carry out my duty. But even though I'm a demonic person, for example, Daityas, they are all the children of Diti Mata, so they are coming under the category of the atheists. And Hiranyakshipu, Hiranyaksha. And then the child is Prahlad Maharaj. And then his son is Virojana, his son is Bali Maharaj. Even though they are in that atheistic family, family of demon, I am a demon means it is not you have demonic nature. It is the qualities what we are trying to do. There are also good demon people. There are Rakshasas, but they have got a good heart as well. But what is my nature? I am taking my pleasure especially. And this comes at goodness, passion, or ignorance. So generally, demonic nature means nature is applied, then he is not following the Sasik injunctions and he does things which is not beneficial to others and himself. So demonic persons, they can understand whether it will, even though sometimes they cannot control it. But it is their nature. Unless they have got sometimes faith on the spiritual master, they cannot control by themselves. So they approach the spiritual master, and the spiritual master guide them. They do have faith on particular person. That is the only they can change. But they have to choose who is the right person.
So, say like sometimes we are at like work and things like that, and we come across people and we want a little bit help them, but even if we try to talk about God, like it's not that they're even atheist, like they have an understanding, but they just can't. I mean, obviously, there's a certain tendency in everybody to whatever, but these are like people that have gone so far, like their drink habits or their eating habits or like everything's gone so far. It's like they've seen life, they've seen how hard it is. They do have an understanding of God, but they just choose to still do things that are, like you say, are detrimental to themselves even. how do we help such people? Like, because you can see that because they're not just changing a little bit, then it's affecting their families, and then the cycle kind of goes on and on. So how do we help them?
This one, it is because sometimes we see there are devotees in the family, and some people, they do not hear, even though it is telling the truth, they do not care for the devotees' instructions, and they keep carrying on with their demonic activities. Though they also understand, but they do not want it to do those things. Some say, this is my ego, I don't want to accept someone if someone is saying something like that. It is my ego, I do whatever I like.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this thing. So that is the nature, what Krishna is saying. I will cast them into the darkness of ignorance. And such demonic persons transmigrate life after life without any knowledge of the Supreme Person. It is their nature only. It is what they wanted. They do not want to hear these instructions when the saintly people say, when they speak.
But is there
So
any way of helping them? Because some of them are okay, like they're not bad people, or but they're just
it is not bad. They wanted to desire, they have got desires to lord it over nature. Bhakta bhoga, that is, I wanted to enjoy. I wanted to become a prime minister. I wanted to be the leader. Everyone has to hear me. And I wanted to be lord of the land, lord of the country, something like that. They do not want it to serve. But actually they are serving all their ego and all of their senses. They do not recognize that one. They are far away, separate from the body and the spirit soul, that they do not recognize. They're absorbing in that bodily concept of life. They act like that.
so there's no way to help them. Like, even like I can't even really give them prasad. Like, even if sometimes I'm just saying, just drink water as opposed to something else. You know, like
So only thing is, just give them an opportunity to render some service. That come, Prabhupada gives very nice instruction. We keep ourselves in the helpless condition, and at least they will see us that we are in the problem, and they will try to come and help us. Such way they will get benefit.
oh,
So that is what what Prabhupada has in America. When Prabhupada was in USA, he doesn't have anything, so he was in a helpless condition. And all these people, how they got pure devotees, they render service to Srila Prabhupada. That is directly because they are in the bodily concept of life. They see Prabhupada's body, and Prabhupada is in the helpless condition. That they understand it. And if we try to give something, they think that I also have food, I also have got these facilities, I don't need anything from it. That may also they may say. But if they have got some kind of, that we can understand what is the loopholes of this particular person. If he's thinking that he is doing some good for the people in general, then we keep ourselves in helpless condition. He will do and render some service. That is the opportunity for them to come to Krishna.
oh, because
Hare Krishna,
yeah, yes,
you
man,
finished.
yes.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mataji.
That's
Yes.
a wonderful way about Prabhupada. But can I share what works for me when I'm in that situation? In my experience, if you appear to be trying to help somebody, they feel less of a person in a way. So by your practicing goodness, they see it, and of course, in my experience, they say, "How are you so? Why are you so happy?" And so then gradually they will get attracted to that way of or your company, and then you will start saying, but do you want to know, if they ask you again, do you want to know the secret? And then you tell, is practicing what you want them to know in yourself first before you attract that individual or those people. So they see that, oh, she's different. Why is it? Or, I'm always in this mood and I don't want anybody to help because I feel they're gonna reject me. This is what the biggest fear is, rejecting. That you pick them up and then you reject them afterwards, and the whole world is a bit like that, if I can say so. Especially in our community, you get this lovely, welcoming attitude, and then as you get a bit closer, and sometimes it's a bit too quick to get that closeness, you find people avoid you, or that I'm sure everybody here has experienced that. I've experienced it. So yeah, it's how you are, how you behave, the way you shine. They want to shine like you, so you got to invite them gradually, not too soon. So I think what Prabhupada did, he was shining from inside from the beginning. So he was a different personality than our level. So that's a good one, but also I think you have to practice what you want to preach. That's in my experience anyway. I'm not imposing it, but that works for me.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. That is perfect. So it is the purity in the heart. Purity is the force. If
Can
you
I
are
ask something?
yes, Prabhuji.
What just Mataji said is so true, so good. Because that shows that if we are a association of a devotee, that makes a difference. If we point out someone's fault, that can work as a reverse psychology. But if you just do your good, devotee activities and goodness, and you show become an example for them, that will automatically attract. That works for us as well. People say that, oh, how can you live without this, how can you do this, and then slowly they see that we don't realize that people noticing you, but people do notice you. That's why being a devotee, and sometimes we are having a discussion in the mentorship meeting as well yesterday. That's Mataji was saying, we should not avoid going out and mixing with these people. Just go and be yourself and show your outfit, your tilak and everything. That attracts. Like a book, if they see the books, they get attracted, and today or tomorrow, one day, they will be interested to read the book. Same way, they see your outfit, that attracts them. Somehow or other, they will think of Krishna. They will talk of Krishna. Oh, what is this? Why are you doing this? So that's works that way. That's my thinking. And the Mataji, about the demon and the thing, Srila Prabhupada said that people who has, the Godhead is called Deva, and the devotee is called Deva, the who is practicing the spiritual activities. And the demon are who forgot about this, all those spirituality and Krishna. They are the demon. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, very beautifully explained, Prabhuji.
Thank
And
you, Rob.
then,
Because sometimes it's so
sorry.
difficult. Like sometimes I think, am I a demon? Am I a demon? Like you think all these things, like,
That
and
is
then
humble nature, Mataji. So you are
no.
a pure devotee of the Lord. But all the devotees, they think like that. I haven't been purified yet. But actually, we are chanting and doing among the devotees association, carrying out our duty in the material world. Justice is needed to maintain the body and returning back to the temple. So, just we are present here means we are no more in the material world. As simple as that.
Okay, so you're saying that, I know you're being kind, but listen to this. I'm just going to give you a snapshot of a conversation I had yesterday, and this is really bad. Okay, there was one person, I was trying to encourage them to not, basically to eat healthy, yeah, and not and the bottom line was that to stop drinking alcohol, yeah, because they were not well, and I said, look, if you just stop, like, it's going to be good for your health. And then and then and then the person said, I'm going to drink whatever, they said all this. And then I said, and then they said, oh, whatever day is written for me to die, I will die on that day, and that's it. It's not going, no one can change it, whatever. Yeah. So I said, then this is how bad I am. Okay. So that person is saying what they're saying. Okay, fine. But then I said, but if you check, I said, I don't know how this came out of my mouth. I said, if, I, and I meant this kind of like, I said, if, something, I said, I said, I can change when, I said, I just said it as a joke, really, but I said, oh, don't worry, I can just change that. I can just change but meaning that if you stop drinking, then that's going to prolong your life, etc. Yeah. And then he said, oh, are you God? And I said, yes. So how bad is that? And then we were like, oh my God, that's a sin. And even he knew that that's a sin to imitate God. And then, but it came out of my mouth. So that's how bad I am as well. So we're just as bad as each other. If I'm not, I'm probably worse. At least that person's only drinking. But I said I was even worse than that. So how do I understand that?
So it is people.
That's bad. That's the word. That's the last snare of Maya, to think that I didn't even mean it. Actually, it was a joke because he said, "Oh, are you?" I just said yes. Like then, because I wanted him to stop drinking, but it was a joke. But it still came out of my mouth.
Mataji, I have similar experience. Similar experience in the sense, I have a very good friend. He's a very heavy drinker, and I'm working on him. I'm trying on him, and but one thing I don't do, I don't tell him that don't do this or don't do that. I don't say that. I just do my regular things, and sometimes we have a conversation about he asks, and when I'm around him, he gets curiosity and he keep asking. Recently, he asked me a question. I sent the question to Amoga Prabhu as well. He's asking that, oh, if you are saying that our account is our account, how come then when our parents pray for us, where does that go? I couldn't answer him straight away. So I said, I'll get back to you. I'll get some knowledge. And so I'm asking Amoga Prabhu and everyone that how. But the thing is, what I noticed about him, what they're doing, if you start to say, oh, don't do this, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. You just need to go along low, showing the good things you can bring to him. Like he suffers from that and that disease or those disease. I say, look, you need to try to go this way, then that might help. You can go that way, that might help. That's what I do for him. That's how normally people, when they will not try to listen to any advice of the other, when they think that they're intellectual in different way, they're very difficult to make them understand. So is the best way not to bang on their face or don't do this, otherwise that will happen. You have to go as an example and bring good things towards them, and then eventually they will come. That's my feeling.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, that is one thing Krishna says. Never ever interact, give this Krishna conscious knowledge to the demonic people or people in the mode of ignorance. Never do that one. You would waste your time and their time as well. Only frustration comes out. So we need to keep ourselves, don't stick on to only one person. There are so many trillions of living entities. Just go and give some prasadam to the dog. That is better than that. So you save some time, dog also get benefits. So that is easy. Otherwise, why we are trying hard for one person who's sitting together and doing all these things? We have to shed so much of energy for one particular person. But how strong that person is and why we are doing it? Am I attached to their body?
No.
That also we need to think. But there are so many things, so many people. So we have to also give some kind of time to reflect for themselves. Immediately we cannot force them. So that's why we have the books. Just give the book and then come. They will find when they are if they are in a mode of ignorance, that particular mood, Every person is influenced by mode of ignorance or passion and goodness in different times. If one person is full in the passion, if we are going into the mode of goodness and try to say some things, we cannot win over them. We cannot, even it is Krishna consciousness, we cannot win over them. They are more passionate. It is that nature is very strong. It is dominating over the goodness. Sometimes this mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance dominate on each other. So what we need to do, keep it going on, just distribute the books and give prasadam and not spend much time and then leave. Sa godohna matram hi gruheshu gruhamedinan avekshite mahabagah tibdhi kurvan tadashrayam. Just only that much moment, not more than that minutes. And this is material world Kali. We will be influenced by them. And we speak so many other things which we should not. So never infected by ourselves. That is only Prabhupada mentions.
So was Kali, had Kali entered me when I said because I was associating with that. I wasn't associating. We were just talking. It was like there's a couple of us in the room. The only reason I said it to that person was because the person has children and the children are affected as well. Not because of the drink, but they seem like good, good children, and the wife seems like a good person, and you can see around that person everybody's quite good, but because of this person's behavior, like it's because it's a family situation, it's like if this person just raises their consciousness, then it will help all the others, and some of the the children are also going through certain things. Yeah, so that my intention was like that, but it just came out in a kind of, yeah. So then when I said, oh, why don't you drink water, like, because the person was not well as well, so I just said, why don't you drink water instead of, like, and then when I made that like when I said, oh, like when they said, oh, my, whenever I'm supposed to die I will die, it's already written, like that, then obviously that person's got some understanding. It's not like they have zero understanding.
Yes,
and then
this is material diseases, so we cannot take those things. Even it would not have any value at all to either themselves or to ours. And if at all possible, only we speak to their family. If their family is good children, we speak Krishna Katha to them or give prasadam to them and help in the way they can elevate. But especially, woman is the most powerful person in the family. So if woman is in Krishna consciousness, entire family will be Krishna consciousness. It will shine. Even the man is not at the moment, he will come in the future, at least a few days later. But anyway, we shall continue that one in the later on, Mataji. So I think it would not solve. So what we do now, the moment is ticking on us. Every moment is ticking on. The time clock is, the seconds indicator is going in every second. It is draining all the living entities' life. That we have to recognize. And what is right now? Keep it going on. And Krishna will do it whenever it is needed.
Prabhu, just last thing before you close, I just wanted to add one thing. You are rightly said that Krishna has said, Srila Prabhupada has said that do not give the Krishna consciousness to the people who are non-devout, like, who are not interested, but people who shows interest. I think this guy I was talking about, he was curious. He asked different question about Krishna. He asked to know. So that's why I think we should. What do you think? And the other thing is, I believe one particular thing in this material world, there's millions of people, and we come across almost just a handful of people who associate with you and who gives the conversation, or who are interested, and that there must be a reason behind it. Without reason, that doesn't happen. So if someone is showing curiosity about Krishna, then of course we'll go and talk about it. That's why I was interested on talking to him.
Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Just to finish off, if you don't mind. Yeah, I think you shouldn't blame and shame yourself, really. you made a mistake. I think you should talk to him. I'm sorry I came out like that. I didn't mean it in a
Oh, no,
nice
we were
way.
laughing about it. We were,
And sorry, shall I finish?
Yeah.
And then if he's showing a little bit of interest, you can introduce Krishna book gently, like leaving it in your office or in the staff room, and just leave it there. And people will ask questions, because especially if you're teaching, everybody's in books, aren't they? So
Yeah.
they will ask questions. Then you'll say, "Oh, this is my secret. If you want to know, you can have a look." And arm yourself with a verse that connect with their predicament, and gently introduce it. Don't push it on them. Ask them if they want to take it home. That's fine. If not, you'll be here and you can help yourself when you feel ready. But we are living in a material world, and we are frustrated when we can't get through to people. In a drunken case, you cannot have a conversation with a drunk person or somebody who's been drinking. They're already in turmoil. They're entangled with their difficulties and the pain. It's very painful to be drinking like that. It's not easy.
Oh,
And then he probably has so much responsibility which he can't keep up with, so that makes him worse. What does he do? He grabs the bottle again and again and again, and he gets so entrenched in it, it's hard to recover. So what you have to do is be gentle and kind, and don't change your demeanor and your attitude towards him. Just keep on being nice. You don't have to push a book to them or tell them, "Oh, this is this." And he actually did ask you, "Are you God?" So he has an idea God is better than everybody else. So that's a good question, actually. And you would gently say, I have got a place where I feel more comfortable than take to drink, that kind of thing. So it's it's a good opportunity, actually, to get closer to him and to help him in a nice way. So, you tell him, you can repeat the verse that help you, and you say, "Look, this is where it is in this book if you want to have a look." But anyway, you don't enforce it. This is the worst thing. As Prabhupada says, if they don't want it, you don't, go that route.
Another way, Mataji, I found is very good is little bit of prasadam that makes goes to their heart. Serve a little, the first start to, or first like in the start of bringing someone Krishna gets prasadam, little bit of prasadam that really goes inside them, and that helps. Very good.
yeah. Like, I'm going to take like cookies for the students, so then I'll give that person one as well. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. It's a good decision, good conclusion. Okay, so we shall continue with Srimad Bhagavatam. Can I request other devotee to read next paragraph?
Prabhu, can I read, please?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Is it the Aham Sarvasya?
Yes, Mataji, until this.
Until this, in the blue, yeah?
Yeah.
The sane man, however, is enlightened in the disciplic succession from Brahmaji, who was personally instructed by the Lord, or in the disciplic succession from Arjuna, who was personally instructed by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. He accepts this statement of the Lord. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. The Lord is the original source of all emanations. Everything.
Mataji, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mataji.
The Lord is the original source of all emanations, and everything that is created, maintained, and annihilated exists by the energy of the Lord. The sane man who knows this is actually learned, and therefore he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is connecting to the previous verse of Shloka. Aham Sarva. This is aham evasam evagre, I am the only one. And here Krishna aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam prabhava. It is connecting words. These words are the similar one. So who understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And here what happens? He becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. So Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha, and engaging himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So it is through disciplic succession. We have to inherit the knowledge as it is. Evam parampara praptum imam rajashayo viduhu. So that is Guru Parampara. Since that particular time. So we have to carry out. This is, he will become, because either the body is temporary and one day it will be vanished. And all these conversations, fightings in this material world for the land or for different kinds of thing, it is just only diluting energy. It will reduces the vital energy of the living entity. So we should not be entangling there. Never ever interfere in any kind of arguments, any kind of politics, any kind of other things which doesn't benefit anyone, which is temporary, but which would not stop old age, disease, and death. So keep ourselves going on only among the devotees, speak only Krishna Katha. That's all. That is, he engages, that is the engaging himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. That is the Prasannam Yati Satpadam. Prasannam Yati Satpadam. The mind needs to be very peaceful all the time. Mano yenaiva vidhina prasannam yati satpadam. Okay, so that is, otherwise it is a keeping stones in a box and then always just shaking it. It will only give the sounds. It doesn't benefit anyone. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. So can I request other devotees to read further?
Shall I, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Although the reflectory energy of the Lord displays various illusions to the eyes of persons with a poor fund of knowledge, the sane person knows clearly that the Lord can act even from afar, far beyond our vision by his different energies, just as fire can diffuse heat and light from the distant place. In the medical science of the ancient sages, known as the Ayurveda, there was definite acceptance of the Lord's supremacy in the following words. Jagat yoner anichasya chidan daika rupinaha pumsosti prakritirniya prakrichayeva bhasvataha Echetanapi chaitanya yogina paramatmanaha akarud vishvame akhilam in anityam natakartim. There is one supreme person who is the progenitor of the cosmic manifestation and whose energy acts as prakriti, or the material nature, dazzling like a reflection. By such illusory action of prakriti, even dead matter is caused to move by the cooperation of living energy of the Lord, and the material world appears like a dramatic performance to the ignorant eyes. The ignorant person, therefore, may even be scientists or physiologists in the drama of Prakriti, while the same person knows Prakriti as the illusory energy of the Lord. By such a conclusion as confirmed by the Bhagavad Gita, it is clear that the living entities are also a display of the Lord's superior energy, para prakriti, just as the material world is a display of the Lord's inferior energy, apara prakriti. The superior energy of the Lord cannot be good as the Lord, although there is very little difference between the energy of the possessor of the energy or the fire of the heat. Fire is possessed by heat, but heat is not fire. This simple thing is not understood by the man with poor fund of knowledge, who falsely claims that the fire and heat are the same. This energy of the fire, namely heat, is explained here as reflection and not directly fire. Therefore, the living entity represented by the living entities in the reflection of the Lord, and never the Lord himself. Being the reflection of the Lord, the existence of the living entity is dependent on the Supreme Lord, who is the original light. The material energy may be compared to darkness, as actually it is darkness, and the activities of the living entities in the darkness are reflections of the original light. The Lord should be understood by the context of this verse. Non-dependence of both the energies of the Lord is explained as Maya or illusion. No one can make a solution of the darkness of ignorance simply by the reflection of light. Similarly, no one can come out of the material existence simply by reflected light of the common man. One has to receive the light from the original light itself. The reflection of sunlight in the darkness is unable to drive out the darkness, but the sunlight outside the reflection can drive out the darkness completely. In darkness, no one can see the things in a room. Therefore, a person in the dark is afraid of snakes and scorpions, although there may not be such things. But in the light, the things in the room can be clearly seen, and the fear of snakes and scorpions is at once removed. Therefore, one has to take shelter of the light of the Lord, as in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and not the reflective personalities who have no touch with the Lord. No one should hear Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam from the person who does not believe in the existence of the Lord. Such a person is already doomed, and any association with such a doomed person makes the association also doomed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. It is the very beautiful purport and a very long purport as well in this paragraph, I mean. So this is, so Prabhupada is bringing these verses. This is all the energy of the Lord. It displays various illusions to the eyes of the persons with full fund of knowledge. This is how our energy is being misused. That is the nature of Maya. This material world is full of darkness, and as soon as the soul enters into this universe, that is Krishna impregnates all the living entities, then only it illuminates. Vishwam Atmagato Venjan Kotasto Jagadankurah Swatejasa Apipattivram Atma Praswapanam Tamaha. So this material world is completely dark. Whenever the living entity enters, it will swallow the darkness. Swatejasa Apipattivram, by its the living entities and the Lord's energy, this darkness will be dissipated. That is the Lord's nature. That is the first thing. That is the Chittam Tad Mahadatmakam Mahatattva. And the Lord's always that higher nature must be there, present. And also everything, whatever it is, the Lord's energy is working. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate nat tamasya abhitikashya drishyate swabhavaki jnana balakriyacha. So Krishna has different energies. They will work according to the Mayadhyakshena Prakritihi, under Krishna's supervision. And they cannot become Lord himself. They only they are just only the reflections. This is Swayonishu yata jyotihi ekam nana pratiyate yoninam guna vaishamyat Yoninam Gunavaishamya Tatatma Prakrito Sitaha. Because of their nature, they will put up into some particular womb of a mother, either it's a dog mother or a human mother or a fish mother or bird mother, something like that. This is Yoninam Gunavaishamyat, based on the nature of the living entity, whatever he has got the consciousness before, and then in this material world, when he is appearing here, he will be put up into such kind of mother's womb. Tatatma Prakrutositaha, but he belongs to only one. Swayeshu Yata Jyotihi, only the supreme Jyoti, supreme light. And here Prabhupada is giving the analogy of this one, of the light and then the fire kind of thing. This is from the Yata Ulmukat Vispulingat Domadva Api Swasambhavat. Well, from the fire there are the blazings come, and also the sparks come, and also smoke come, but these are all separate from the actual fire itself. Api atmatven abhimatat yatha agnihi prudagulmukat. Similarly, the soul is already there, and because of that, its nature, the activities are coming out, and the symptoms are coming out, the sound vibrations are coming out, and everything. But that is only source is the soul. It's a different kinds of analogy here. And when we understand that the same soul in all the bodies, everything are the puppets as small different machines. If we see small flies and insects in our home, they also have got the same quality as the us. That is the soul, the living spark. And that is when we understand that it is that one. So that is called knowledge. And that knowledge is coming from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the Arka. Bhagavatam is mentioned comparing to the Surya. Krishne Sudamopagate Dharma Jnanadibisaha. Kalo Nasra Dushamesha Purano Arko Adunoditaha. This is the sun to dissipate the darkness of this material world, materially infected conditioned souls. One has to read Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam every day. And this is Avaishnava Mukhabudghinam. One should not hear. Otherwise, Yata Sarpochistannam Yata Paiha. This is also Prabhupada Goswami mentions that one. Otherwise, Krishna Kathamrutam Potam. Potam Krishna Kathamrutam. It is so pure. Otherwise, if people who are touching this Krishna Katha, who are Avaishnava, then he is doomed. Such a doomed person makes other associates also doomed. So that is very beautiful purport of this one. We have got one more last paragraph. Can I request any other devotee to read this one, and later we reflect on it? Yes, Mataji, please.
According to the Padma Puran, within the material compass, there are innumerable material universe, and all of them are full of darkness and living being beginning from the Brahma. There are innumerable Brahma in innumerable universes to the insignificance and are all born in darkness, and they require spiritual light from the Lord to see him directly. Directly, just as the sun can be seen only by the direct light of the sun. No lamp or man-made torchlight, however powerful it may be, can help one see the sun. The sun reveals itself. Therefore, the action of different energy of the Lord or the personality of Godhead himself can be realized by the light manifested by the causeless mercy of the Lord. The impersonalists say that God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of God and not by man-made speculations. Here this light is specifically maintained as Vidyat, which is an order by the Lord to Brahma. This direct order of the Lord is a manifestation of his internal energy, and thus particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. Not only Brahma, but anyone who may be graced by the Lord to see such merciful, direct internal energy can also realize the personality of Godhead within any mental speculation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So here Prabhupada is mentioning about the innumerable material universes, all of them with full of darkness. Any living being beginning from the Brahma to that insignificant ant are all born in the darkness. And also this is and it requires factual light from the Lord to see him directly as the sun seen only by the direct light of the sun. And it is our experience as well in this material world. And the personality of Godhead can be realized by the light manifested by the causeless mercy of the Lord. And then here further, Prabhupada mentions the impersonalists say that God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of the God, not by the man-made speculations. So here, Sarva Bhuteshu Chat Bhuteshu Sar. This is also number of times the Lord instruction is one has to see all the living entities are in the God in our heart. Sarvabhuteshu Chatmani Sarvabhutani Chatmanam. So he says one has to see all the living entities in the Lord and Lord in his heart. And the Lord can be manifested on his energies, like all the individual living entities, by their symptoms and what they are trying to do. They are being driven by the life force. That life force belongs to the Supreme God, part and parcel of Supreme. That is, Krishna mentions, Mamaivam Jivaloke, Jiva Bhutaha Sanatanaha, Mansastani Indriyani, Tupristani Karshati. They're struggling for their existence. Okay, so that is from here. So this is what Krishna is saying, and Prabhupada is explaining here. This is Vidjat. Prityardhamit Prityeta, na Prityet Chatmani, Tad Vidjat Atmano Mayam, Yata Bhaso, Yata Tamaha. Okay, so and then further, the direct order of the Lord is the manifestation of his internal energy. So, and this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. Now here, Brahma, the Lord is touching. Priyam Pritamana Karesh Prushan. The Lord is touching Brahma with his hand. And Brahma is seeing the Lord face to face. He did Dandavat Pranam to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then the Lord is just lifting him and then speaking all this. Chatushloki Bhagavatam. That is Brahma. As soon as Brahma says Nanama Padam Bujam Asya Visvaswrup, he just fall Nanama Padam Bujam, just like a Dandavat. That is the Yat Paramhamshena Patadi Mete. Paramhamsas do that one as the Patadi Mete. And then here Lord is speaking all this knowledge to Brahma. And not only the Brahma, but anyone who may be graced by the Lord to see such merciful direct internal energy can also realize the personality of Godhead without any mental speculation. That's why Krishna says, Bhuyastvam tapatista vidhyam chaiva madasriyam. Tabhyam antarhuti Brahman lokan drakshasi apavrutan. Engage yourself in the penances. What is that penance? Sujami tapasai vedam grasami tapasa punaha bhyavarmi tapasa vishwam virime dusharantapaha. Tapasya is the only one for the creation, maintenance and destruction. And there is no difference between tapasya and me. So you engage yourself in the tapasya and wake up early morning for the Mangalacharan prayers and chant early morning, follow the regulative principles. All you engage your vital energy in the service. Yat karoshi, yat dasnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapaspasi kaunteya, kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, everything you give only to me. That is Pashpam. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya parechati tadaham bhakti upurhutam asnami pretatmanaha. Just only bhakti upurhutam by pretatmanaha. Such a way one can see the Lord face to face. Day-to-day activities needs to be aligned in like that. Otherwise, our vital energy will be taken over by the material energy, put up into illusion, saying that you have to work this one, you have this problem, you have got this thing, you have got so many things. Why you're looking at the chanting all the time and among the devotees? Likewise, material energy pull us back through different kinds of material things. Either it may be, but devotee understands what is the duty, what is not the duty, whether it is necessary, whether it is not necessary, how much is required. Those things only devotee can understand. Okay, so with that one I stop here. And dear devotees, if you have got any questions, kindly say, or any additions or any comments in this second shloka of the Chatushlaki. It is completed for today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, and if you please scroll up in the paragraph which I read, where there was reference of throwing illusory energy and covering illusionary energy. So, I mean, it's very explained very briefly. Is there a lot of difference there? Like, it's I think a bit below 2 or 3 lines. Yeah, because throwing is where Prabhupada is mentioning that the living entities are thrown in the mode of ignorance and darkness, and covering is like men have poor fund of knowledge. So, like when they have they are into ignorance, they have isn't it like related, like when they are in mode of ignorance, they have poor fund of knowledge and they don't accept this transcendental truth. So is there a lot of difference, or like just subtle difference?
So here the illusory energy has two phases of existence, namely the covering influence and throwing influence. Throwing influence, the illusory energy throws the living entities into the darkness of the ignorance, and by covering influence, she covers the eyes of men with poor fund of knowledge about the existence of the Supreme Person who enlightened the Supreme individual living being, Brahma. So here, one is the two coverings. In both situations, they cannot come to Krishna that much easily. One is they are kept like in the foreign countries. They don't hear Krishna at all. That is the covering influence. And in the throwing influence, they are, even though they know they hear Krishna, but they do not want to hear Krishna. And they wanted to engage themselves in the materialistic, like economic development, family, friends, and then I wanted to become a leader. I wanted to show off myself. That is darkness of ignorance. That is throwing influence. Covering influence is like far away from Krishna. They haven't heard about it. If they hear about it, they have got a chance to come to Krishna. That is one of it. Is uncovering Krishna means there is an opportunity for those things. But throwing influence means it is very difficult. They are ignoring it.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So the all these scientists, psychologists, physiologists, so they come under the throwing influence, like when they are not able to accept supreme personality of Godhead, and they are in mode of ignorance, right?
Yes, Mataji. And also, if that particular person, he already knows about Krishna, but he doesn't want to take, and he wanted to go in his own path, that is throwing influence. Yes, you're right.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Prabhu. I actually, I forgot about this one that really intrigued me all the time, actually. There are people in the temple I know that serve Krishna, everything towards Krishna all the time, and even serving the devotees in a real good, humble, and kind mood, loving, kind mood. And they don't have the good fund of knowledge. They're poor in the fund of knowledge about Krishna. So, how does that sentence go down well?
That is going as a throwing influence, maybe, or covering influence. So here they're coming into the temple, but they do not want to engage themselves, and they're just going because they have got somewhere or other, even though they're coming to temple, they will get some kind of influence of the devotees. They carry it, but they do not want to execute it at that particular moment.
But
So
they are showing attention to Krishna. They are doing the right thing. They just don't have the knowledge. When I say knowledge, they haven't studied the shastras. They haven't got. There must be something that they're aware of that brings them to that path. But they are doing total, loving devotional service to, as the shastra says. But they're not aware that this is what's available. This is what it says, and they don't follow it in the reading, and they're there in the kata, and they must be hearing something, but and they serve the devotees wholeheartedly and Krishna wholeheartedly. So what's their situation? Where do they stand?
Hare Krishna,
so,
Mataji, may I add something? Sorry, Prabhu, maybe
yes,
after you.
Mataji. Yeah, go on, Mataji.
So yeah, I understand, appreciate what you're saying, and we do come across such devotees in the temple, and who have been serving for many years, and like whichever service I have done, I come across them. So basically, they would come under covering influence. So they are serving, and Krishna wants them to be more purified, like through devotion, because the main thing is Hare Nama Kevalam. I mean, without that, nothing happens. So, but to do like proper purified chanting, sometimes we are not that purified. So Lord will give us more devotional service. So when we do more devotional service, then we get more purified. And some people need less, some people need more. So when that time comes, then that thing Krishna will uncover that, that will be. Now they're into covering, maybe that knowledge is not, the shastric knowledge, what you're mentioning, is covered from them. It's like an illusionary energy. Lord's illusionary energy has covered it. So once they're purified enough, that could be 2 years, 3 years, 10 years service. We do not know their what Lord knows it. And then only that is uncovered, and they will come and accept the Shastra and all that, Krishna's, the transcendental knowledge that Lord wants them to know. So it happens gradually, and it's everybody's individual journey, Mataji. That's what I felt, yeah, according to. But Amoga Prabhu can throw more light into it. Hare Krishna.
Well, I think I'm thinking about this sadhu who was sitting underneath the tree, couldn't read or write. These people, some of them are afraid to go near a book because they don't think they could manage it. They don't understand that they may not be able to read and write. Lots of people can't read, they're illiterate, we don't know about it, but people sort of put on a farce and face that, then they're all right, but they're probably all right, but they don't know how to read or write, so they're afraid to go near a book.
So yes, Mataji. So that is that context is perfectly fit. because they are in the Krishna's temple and nearer to Krishna, it would make them always to associate in the spiritual energy only, as long as they are with Krishna only. But such kind of people, if they go into the material world and exposing to these material activities, they may be attracted very easily because there is no knowledge of it.
So I'm talking about people who don't engage in the spiritual world. They live outside, but they don't get involved with all the material activities. So they sit in a nice place, aren't they? In a good place with Krishna.
Yes. So they do not have to have knowledge as long as they are always with Krishna.
Yeah.
But if they are going somewhere other to engage in the material things, then because there is no knowledge, they may fall down. Material energy may be absorbing them.
But they believe, their belief is strong, and they're committed. They have faith, but they don't.
Yes,
Yeah.
their faith is there in Krishna, but they do not, and because knowledge means separate, seeing what is material energy, what is spiritual energy. That knowledge is the poor fund of knowledge. They don't have that. There it is. That's why blind faith. So there is a one sentence. Going into temple without faith, it is a kind of, sorry, what is that? A religion without science is a blind faith. A science without religion is mental speculation. So when we have got that knowledge to see what is matter, what is spirit, what is spiritual and what is material, then he will not fall down. Otherwise, it is a blind faith. But Krishna consciousness, it has a science and it is a religion, both. But devotees, some devotees, they don't have knowledge, but in the temple, that is all right. But on one day, Krishna gave that knowledge, as Mataji said. It may be this life or next life. So devotees, they do not care about. They wanted to immediately go to the spiritual planets. But Krishna, they are under the divine supervision. Krishna arranges them. That giving that knowledge, arranging the spiritual master, they will be initiated, reading the scriptures, and with under the mentor, under the spiritual master. Likewise, those activities will go on. But it may not be immediately, but not we might have seen yesterday they are not in that knowledge, but after tomorrow we might be hearing so many slokas, they are speaking Krishna Katha to everyone else. Those things we could see. We would witness it. We are the practical examples. After few years before, we don't know what is what. Now everyone are able to speak some shloka, some knowledge. See, we are witnessing those things. Everyone under divine supervision.
They must be receiving some kind of for them to pursue it, they must be feeling happiness by coming and performing.
Yes, Mataji. So that is when we started to speak something, we will be influenced by the Lord. That's why we have got these Tuesday sessions. Whenever the devotees speak, they would see what is the real force behind him, what they're speaking, how the Lord is helping them. That way, this knowledge will be developed gradually, equally to all the devotees.
So the sadhu that was sitting underneath the tree he had knowledge. He was an well, whatever. He was actually endowed with Krishna's existence and everything, but he just couldn't read it to relish the external, statement of what Krishna has ordained for us.
Yes, he is good for himself and Krishna, and that is all right, but he cannot preach it. When he tries to preach it, he must read the scriptures. When he reads the scriptures, he will get that knowledge. But otherwise, sadhu, he is good for himself. And how do he understands that Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead? It's just a faith coming from the tradition. Everyone doing, I will also do. Krishna says this one. Krishna said these instructions from the Bhagavad Gita. That is also a knowledge, a little bit of knowledge, but it is sharp and only one knowledge. And how his energies work, that kind of knowledge he may not be having it. But he is good for himself.
But he's also, he was in tears. He was crying for Krishna. They say, if you're that much longing for Krishna, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rescued him and cuddled him, that means he's liberated, isn't it? Because he came into contact with the Lord.
Yes, yeah, that is liberated. He doesn't have any material interest. So he understands Krishna's mercy and compassion and how he is trying to help the living entity. That knowledge is there. It is good for himself, but in speaking all the knowledge and how Lord's energies work in this material world, he doesn't have to have that knowledge. As long as he is with Krishna, and as soon as he leaves that body, antakale chamamiva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayat samadbhavam yati nasti atra samsayaha. If he is remembering that thing, his life is successful. He is good for himself, going back to Godhead. But the knowledge, when we are speaking something to some others, then knowledge come into the picture. And then because we do not want to engage ourselves in the material energy, at that time knowledge is needed. If I am going to the work, I need to have knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, how Lord's energies work. Otherwise, we'll be absorbed in those energies. But sadhus, they don't go into the material energies, so they're already in the spiritual energy of the Lord. They don't have much risk.
But isn't books material? It's in the material sense.
So books, why we need books is to give the knowledge, because for the people entangling in the material world, that would separate them from the material energy. Sometimes people, they are afraid to take Bhagavad Gita books. Even the giving freely, they don't take it. If I take this book, I will be separating from my family and all other things, enjoyment, something like that. They don't take it. That is a separate angle of it. But yes, books have that kind of knowledge. But these sadhus, they're already separated from the material energy, even though not with the knowledge, but having complete faith in Krishna. That is, as long as until they leave their body, if they maintain the same mood, they will go back to Godhead. They're good for themselves, for elevating themselves into the spiritual planets.
In the medical field, they say the more you know, the worse it is for you, because you know what's coming. You know too much about the subject, and you become the worst patient. What do you think about that?
Yes, man, that is true. That is the material nature there.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I agree with that one. I see many people, they speak so many things. How does that help? It does not increase your lifespan, it does not stop your disease. Instead, it will increase more of your mental speculations.
Yeah.
It's another mental disease. That knowledge is mental disease. But that Krishna says that Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam Tattva Jnanad Darshanam. This is in the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter. He's saying all these things. There are 5 verses from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then I speak all this as knowledge. Everything beyond this one is not the knowledge. Who have got that knowledge, their mind will be ruined. That is the material people.
8 to where? How far did you say, Prabhu?
Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, verse number 8 to 13. In the last verse, Et Dhanamiti Proktam. So he says, I declare this one is knowledge. Everything beyond that one is not knowledge.
Haribol. Thank you so much for all your time. We've taken up a lot of time, but it's clarified so much stuff, things.
Devotees, they know already, but it is just we are repeating what Prabhupada says, that's all.
But you also need questions, otherwise, even it helps us, everyone, to think, isn't it?
How does destiny, like whatever we're supposed to do, is that already written, or does Krishna just act through us and we are just an instrument? Or obviously after initiation, like obviously there is a little desire that we just want to go back to the spiritual world, and we want to finish these whatever we have to do. So then does Krishna use us as an instrument, or do we have a destiny? How does Krishna manage or someone that's trying to surrender to him, at least? Like what Mataji was saying earlier, like is things a coincidence, or how does he manage us, or how do our spiritual masters manage us? Or
it's to do with your karma, isn't it?
Okay.
You decide for yourself in a way by your actions. But this is what Krishna says is going to happen. So in a way, we should expect it if we're in the Krishna consciousness. So it could be backflow of karma, or you could be performing the bad karma in this life, or good karma in this life. So it dictates what you're gonna receive the next, or maybe receive in the same position you're in this world. I think that's what I believe.
So yes, Mataji. So here nothing is accident, nothing is just like it is happening. Why we have got all the months? Today morning we have got sunrise at particular this time. And why we have got astrology only this particular moment we have to break the fast. Timings have been decided. It is not accidentally. Everything has got a time. Whenever the time ticks, whether this person born or he is still going to die, and what is happening, everything is pre-arranged. Only the thing is that can be changed for a material condition for the living entities, whether that living entity can be put into the spiritual energy or not. That is only the desire, and by the living entity. That can be happening only in the human life.
Okay.
Otherwise, everything is by Krishna's Mayadhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam. For the material conditioned people, they are under completely material energy. Everything going perfectly. And for the devotees, under spiritual energy, everything going perfectly. Even though we may not recognize it, but things are happening as under divine supervision perfectly. Everything is very minute thing is already prescribed. At what moment what happens, it is all, but we do not recognize. We may think that I might have woken up this particular time because I did just like that. I felt like that. It is not I felt like that. It is under divine supervision. Devotees who are chanting, following regulative principles, have accepted the vows. They are under divine supervision at every moment. And sometimes we may see some kind of person is going through some family problems. They might have been previously, still they are continuing now. That is also under divine supervision. Swarambakam Pratisamikhita Eva Sasuhu. That is, whatever has been started already before, that is also under divine supervision, because whenever you completely surrender without any speculations. Do you see my screen? As
Yeah.
this, as a chart. Or just only the, okay, I think it's not the chart. So everything is under the divine supervision.
There isn't the chart, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is what I was trying to show before. This is the destiny. What in the devotee's life, everything is micromanagement. It is called micromanagement. Krishna is overseeing each and every activity and thought in the mind. What thoughts are going in the devotee's mind? What he is speaking? What he is doing? Everything is micromanaged for the devotees by Krishna's divine arrangement. For other people, material energy is looking after it, who are not devotees. How to engage them, how to put them, how to suffer, put them in more pressure, engage in the duties. You work more hard, you are getting appreciations. You are number one in this college, you are number one in this politics, like that. Material energy engages them. They don't have any mental peace. They do not have any mental peace. So, but only devotee has got, he doesn't have anything, so he is very peaceful. He is associated with Tasmin Prashanta Purushe Gat Vigrehevam. Lord is always peaceful, Prashanta Vigrehe. And we are with Krishna, we are also peaceful. When Master is peaceful, we are peaceful. If our Master is a dog, he barks, and we also learn how to bark. So that is the nature of spiritual world and material world.
Yes, Prabhu, that is true about if you were the dog you bark. There was a young child abandoned in one of the Ukraine, I think it was Ukraine country, and there was a poor